and of liberty and justice for all. Okay, let's have roll call. We have people who are virtual and from here. Jen Liptak, I see you here.
Here.
Zurich is here. Stephanie Turman is here. Michelle Zemanek is here. Senator Brewster, are you on the line?
Yes, I am, Jeff.
Thank you. Representative Davis, are you on the line? Austin? LG? Okay, John Tagg, are you on the line? This could be a problem, then we won't have a quorum.
I think some of them may be on mute. We try again.
John Tagg, are you on? And Austin Davis, are you on the line? Okay, well, we're waiting for Jeff to get them on the items that don't need votes we can proceed with. So I'll skip over the approval of the minutes. They're on? Oh, okay.
Hey, Austin Davis is here.
Okay, thanks, Austin.
Yes, so you John Tagg.
All right, thank you. Okay. With that, then we'll go to approval of the minutes of the July 29th meeting of the board. Everyone has had the opportunities to review the minutes. May I have a motion for their approval?
So moved.
So
For a
moved.
second? Yeah, I'll take that as a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, they're approved. With that, we'll move on to the report of the Chief Executive Officer, Catherine Kellerman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning to members of the board and everyone who's joining us today. I'd like to start with a moment of silence for the following retirees who passed away in July and August. Operators Gregory Knox, Harry Lindner, Robert Morris, John Mahoney, and Gary Osborne. Supervisor Elvira Enty and Chief Payroll Specialist Terry Treblecock. I am going to take a moment of privilege to move away from my script, and we'd also, at this point and later today, like to recognize Board Solicitor Joel Lennon, who also passed in the last month. And a moment of silence, please. Thank you. I trust everyone had a nice summer, which seems to have officially ended as of 2 days ago. Welcome back. We at PRT have been very busy on many fronts, including our exciting announcement to transition to emission-free vehicles. Mass transit already greatly reduces carbon dioxide by removing thousands of cars off the road every day. Our buses, even the newest clean diesel, which become cleaner every year, still produce emissions that can be reduced, if not eliminated, through the adoption of zero-emission vehicles. Adopting zero-emission vehicles will improve our region's air quality, cutting those greenhouse emissions by half by 2034 and eliminating them altogether by 2045. In the US today, these buses are more likely to be electric, but we're holding the door open for other technologies as they develop in the coming years. For example, we're actively investigating hydrogen fuel cell buses, which have a higher energy density than electric buses, shorter refueling times, and longer driving ranges. They do have higher costs to operate. These are the factors we have to balance. There are pros and cons, and there are even more technologies on the horizon. Diesel has been our predominant fuel, driving public transit industry for more than half a century, and it's up to us to find a worthy replacement. We will continue to put in the time and effort to research, test, and fully vet these vehicles before choosing what makes sense for our needs. I know transition sounds easy enough. Can't we just pick up the phone and get 700 clean burning vehicles and put our diesel buses out to pasture? It's not how it works. The dynamics and logistics are complicated, but factors like federal requirements to keep our existing buses for a set investment time, our need for charging infrastructure, and the increase in cost in training our workforce mean that flipping a switch is best served in a long-term gradual process. If we can get there faster, we will. And in the meantime, we will battle climate change via projects that increase our efficiencies, like reducing traffic congestion in key corridors, encouraging transit-oriented development, and where we can, including bike lanes that complement our system and increase the options for a car-free lifestyle. Remember, freedom isn't having a car, freedom is not needing a car. If only there were buses that ran on Pittsburgh Pride, we'd be golden. I like that one, that's a good one. But being in a situation which we are right now, where we can develop more environmentally friendly options, is the best steps for us in the right direction. It's an exciting time in public transit, one that can make our city, our county, and our region a better place to live, work, and play. I'm a huge booster. I already think we're fantastic. I'd like to see us be more fantastic. And Mr. Lesswin, unless there's any questions, this concludes my remarks.
Great. Any questions from the board? How about virtually? Okay, thanks, Catherine.
Thank you, sir.
All right, with that, we'll move on to the reports of the committees. The first from the Performance and Oversight Committee from our Chair, Michelle Zamanek.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. The Performance Oversight Committee met last week, and I have 2 resolutions for your consideration. The committee first reviewed 7 procurement items and determined the bids to be in accordance with the PRT's procurement policies and procedures. The price is fair and reasonable, the bidders to be reasonable, responsive, and the bids responsive. The Performance Oversight Committee recommends the awards of bids listed in the resolution for the total amount of $3,520,637.70. My fellow members, I respectfully request the board approve this resolution.
May I have a motion? Is
So moved.
there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
The second resolution seeks authorization to extend agreements for technical and clerical temporary support services as needed for employee absences, vacations, and additional workload. In November 2019, PRT's board authorized the award of agreements with a pool of firms to provide services for an initial term of 3 years for a total not to exceed amount of $1 million. The agreements also contain 2 option years to be exercised by PRT in its sole discretion. The Performance Oversight Committee recommends authorizing an amendment to the agreements to exercise the first option to extend the term of agreements with the firms listed in the resolution for 1 additional year to November 30th, 2023, with no increase to the total not to exceed amount. My fellow board members, I respectfully request the board approve this resolution.
Is there a motion to approve? Is
So moved.
there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Michelle. And with that, we'll move on to the report of the Planning and Stakeholder Relations Committee from John Tague, the chair. John, you're on.
Okay, hold on. I wanted to make sure my mic was on. Sorry, Jeff. Good morning, Mr. Chairman and fellow board members. The Planning and Stakeholder Relations Committee met last week. I have a few items for the board. Chief Operating Officer of Maintenance, Dawn Ravetti, provided an update on the Pittsburgh Regional Transit Zero Emission Rollout Plan. PRT is replacing the current diesel operated fleet with alternative fuel buses to achieve a zero emission fleet by 2045. PRT is interested in all zero emission technologies that will improve operation and benefit the environment. The transition of vehicles will happen over time as we continue to assess operational improvements, infrastructure needs, and cost. Purchasing zero emission buses are on an alternate year beginning in 2025 will give us some time to scale up facilities with appropriate infrastructure. From 2032 on, everything purchased will be some type of zero emission bus. PRT currently has 8 electric battery electric buses, plus an additional 15 on order as part of 2023 vehicle procurement. The staff will continue to research evaluate, plan, and budget for the infrastructure upgrades and operational and maintenance training. Funding opportunities such as the federal programs will minimize the impact of this transition. Second, the Allegheny County Transit Council met on September 21st. Darcy Cleaver, section manager of transit amenities, actually one of the members asked what's considered amenities, so Darcy explained what amenities were, and then also provided an update on the proposed bus stop design changes. In addition, the council voted to amend its current bylaws. The next meeting is scheduled for October 26th. Third, the Committee on Accessible Transportation did not meet. Their next scheduled meeting is for November 3rd. Unless there are any questions, that concludes my report, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Are there any questions? Okay, thank you, John. With that, we'll move on to the report of the Finance Committee from Anna O'Rourke, our chair.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair and fellow board members. The Finance Committee met on Thursday, September 15th, and I have one resolution for your consideration. This resolution seeks authorization to enter into an agreement with Brinks USA to provide armored car and cash management services. These services include collecting, counting, and depositing all currency and coin at the 4 bus garages and the rail center, collecting and counting currency from the downtown service center and 72 ticket vending machines, replacing consumables at 72 ticket vending machines. In order to obtain qualified firms to perform the services, an RFP was prepared and publicly advertised. Because there was only one proposal received from Brinks USA, a single proposer survey was issued, and it was determined that reasonable efforts had been taken to solicit proposals, and the scope of the RFP was not overly restricted to result in one RFP response. An evaluation committee was formed to review the proposal and found it to be responsive and the proposed pricing fair and reasonable. The resolution would authorize PRT to enter into an agreement with Brinks to provide armored car and cash management services for an initial term of 3 years for a total not to exceed amount of $3 million. 2 additional option years would be available at the sole discretion of PRT. My fellow members, I respectfully request the board approve
No,
this
it's fine.
resolution.
Austin, you should mute yourself so we don't hear what's going on in the race and everything.
So moved.
Right. Can I have a motion? No, we got that motion already.
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any
Second.
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
The July and August 2022 financial results were also presented at the meeting. It was reported that total operating income for the month of July was under budget by $1.2 million. Total expenses for July were $7.5 million below budget, with every expense category below budget. Total operating income for August was $5,914 over budget due to higher investment income and advertising revenue. Total operating income from a year-to-date perspective was $1.23 million below budget due to lower revenues in July. Total expenses for the month of August were $4.76 million below budget and $12.3 million below budget for the fiscal year. Total subsidies for the month of August were $260,071 over budget and $355,299 over budget for the fiscal year. It was reported that total operating income is $404,733, or 4.3% higher than fiscal year 22, and total expenses are $1.56 million higher than last fiscal year, primarily due to higher materials and supplies. PRT ended the month of August with approximately $126.1 million in cash reserves. Mr. Chairman, unless there are any other questions, that concludes my report.
Any questions? Okay, thank you. And then with that, we'll move on to the report of Technology Committee from its chair, Jen Liptak.
Thank you, Chairman Letwin. The Technology Committee met last Thursday on the 15th of September, and there are 2 resolutions for consideration today. The committee first reviewed a bid for purchase of ISDN-PRI telecom services under the CoStarz contract. The committee determined the bid to be in accordance with the PRT's procurement policies and procedures, and the prices to be fair and reasonable. Therefore, the Technology Committee recommends the award of the contract as further detailed in the resolution in a total amount of $302,000. So I request that this board approve it.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Seems to get boring when I talk.
Maybe they're like doing other work right now.
Yeah. The next resolution presented is to upgrade the Jashiro, did I say that right? I butchered that and I apologize. Software. This project is for an upgrade and professional services required to bring the software up to date to the current version. The software was initially approved in 2016. It's used by the scheduling department in multiple operations areas. Therefore, the Technology Committee recommends approval for this with a amendment to the contract in the scope and increase the total not to exceed amount to $3,229,106. So I respectfully request the board approve this resolution.
Can I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion carries.
Thank you. That concludes my report, and thank you, Mr. Chairman, for leading my meeting while I was in the car coming back from an appointment.
Well, you actually ended up getting to take the lead, right? You got there.
I was on for the meeting, but I appreciate you
Anytime.
running the meeting
I'm
for
here
me.
to serve.
Thank you.
Okay. We do have one item of new business today. This is the resolution honoring Joel Lennon, as Catherine referred to earlier. Joel was the solicitor of this board for over 16 years and served as legal counsel for the authority for more than 40 years. Sadly, Joel passed away, as we know, and I can say that I had the privilege of working with him because I've been on the board quite a long time, and as many others have done as well. And he was an energetic, wise, and dedicated counselor to the agency and a zealous advocate on our behalf. He was also smart as a whip, I can tell you. From lawyer to lawyer, he was a really good lawyer. He spent countless hours in the conference rooms of PRT in providing vital assistance and guidance to our people. And therefore, as a tribute to Joel and in recognition of his years of important service to the PRT, to its board, and the transit riders of this region, this resolution is going to authorize the formal renaming of PRT's conference rooms, one of PRT's conference rooms here in the Heinz 57 Center, to be named for Joel. And I'd like to read this resolution in full. Whereas the Board of Port Authority of Allegheny County, which we now does business as the Pittsburgh Regional Transit Authority, passed a resolution on January 28th in which it recognized Joel Lennon Esquire upon his retirement from the practice of law. And whereas Mr. Lennon served as solicitor and to the board for over 16 years and represented PRT in several high-profile projects and matters for almost 40 years. Mr. Lennon's legal work supported virtually every major project and initiative PRT undertook over the past 4 decades, including the Martin Luther King Jr. East Busway extension, which extended the East Busway from Wilkinsburg to Swissville, the Pittsburgh Stage 2 Light Rail Project, which reconstructed 13 miles of our light rail system from Overbreak to Drake trolley lines, and the North Shore Connector Project, one of the biggest, which extended PRT's light rail system from downtown Pittsburgh to the North Shore. And whereas Mr. Lennon earned his bachelor's degree in legal studies cum laude from Bowling Green State University in 1980 and his JD magna cum laude from Syracuse University College of Law in 1983. And whereas Mr. Lennon spent his entire legal career with the law firm of Eckert, Seaman, Sharon Millott, LLC, where Mr. Lennon was a highly valued member of the firm. In addition to representing PRT in various litigation, procurement, construction, and municipal government matters, he also represented various other public authorities and private entities throughout his career. And whereas after a courageous 3-year battle with pancreatic cancer, Mr. Lennon passed away on September 5th at the age of 64. And whereas the board and PRT senior management team wish to honor and remember Mr. Lennon for his dedicated service to the board, PRT, and the many riders and stakeholders that PRT serves, and whereas the board feels that it is appropriate to honor Mr. Lennon by renaming one of the conference rooms at our Heinz 57 Center offices where Mr. Lennon spent countless hours while providing legal guidance and support to the PRT board, management, and staff. Now be it resolved that this resolution be adopted in honor and recognition of the life of Joel Lennon Esquire, and that it be presented to his wife Kate with the board's and PRT management's deepest sympathies. Resolve further that the CEO, COO, CLO, and other PRT relevant staff be and are hereby authorized and directed to identify an appropriate conference room in PRT's Heinz 57 Center administrative offices to update the layout of and rename the Joel Lennon Memorial Conference Room, and to take any and all other actions necessary and proper to carry out the purpose and intent of this resolution. May I have such a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any opposed? That motion carries. And I am pleased to announce today that Joel's wife Kate and Molly are here today with us, and I believe that Carrie is on the phone. And unfortunately, I think Dylan and Joel were unable to be there, but please convey the sentiment as well. And I will present this resolution to you after the meeting. Thank you for being here. Okay, with that, we will move on to the public comment, and our first speaker is Ralph Williams, President of the Allegheny County Transit Council. Ralph, are you either here or on virtual? Going once? Going twice? All right, second speaker is Laura Perkins, Casa San Jose.
I have 3 minutes, right?
Yes, and I should also indicate that there is no interaction from the board. We take in your comments, but we do not interact.
Okay. Can you hear me okay? Buenos días, mi nombre es Laura Perkins, soy la organizadora comunitaria de Casa San Jose, una organización comunitaria que sirve a la comunidad latina del suroeste de Pensilvania. Tomo la línea roja del tren T a la oficina de Casa San Jose en Beachview lunes a viernes, ida y vuelta. La mayoría de la comunidad de Casa San Jose no tiene acceso a las licencias de conducir. Muchos viven en Beachview. Muy pocos tienen tarjetas de crédito y tasas de alfabetización tecnológica son muy bajas en la comunidad que servimos. La necesidad de tener información clara y actualizada sobre el transporte público de Pittsburgh es esencial para nuestra comunidad. La última vez que hice comentario a este consejo, me respondieron en forma indirecta con una presentación sobre cómo PRT está cumpliendo con el título 6 de la ley de estadounidenses con discapacidades. Para mí no tiene que ver con un asunto legal, si están cumpliendo con el título 6 o no. Para mí es un asunto humano. No hicieron nada fructífero en respuesta a mis comentarios, pues estoy aquí otra vez para pedir 2 cosas básicas de ustedes. Uno, que hagan anuncios auditorios en los trenes y estaciones de trenes del T en inglés y en español. 2, que pongan anuncios escritos en las estaciones de trenes y en los trenes en inglés y en español. Entre el 27 de abril y el 13 de mayo de este año, cada vez que subí al shuttle que reemplazó la línea roja, conté a las personas presentes conmigo en el shuttle. De los 103 personas que conté, 41 eran hispanohablantes. Eso es 39.8%. El 17 de junio, varios empleados de PRT se reunieron con Casa San Jose para escuchar nuestras preocupaciones. Los empleados de PRT dijeron que ustedes están en la época de actualizar y crear nuevos recursos escritos, dado el cambio de nombre entre Port Authority Transit y Pittsburgh Regional Transit. Quiero dar seguimiento a esos esfuerzos y continuar ofreciendo mi apoyo. Si fue difícil y frustrante escuchar mis comentarios en español y no entenderlos, si ustedes piensan que eso fue una pérdida de su tiempo, imagínense la frustración de nuestra comunidad cada vez que usa nuestro lindo sistema de transporte público. Ahora les doy mis comentarios en inglés. Gracias por escuchar. So, here are my comments in English.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Okay, our next speaker is Lorenzo Rioli. Rioli?
You can give them to her.
Yeah, she'll distribute.
But thank you very much for that. We appreciate it.
Lorenzo,
I'll make sure they get it. Thank you.
going once. Going twice. Sue Martin. Okay. Going once. Going twice. And finally, our last speaker, Stephanie Romero. And actually, we had one speaker today, so thank you, Laura, for showing up. Okay, our next regular meeting is scheduled for October 28th. And with that, we stand adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.